Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video that I will be reacting to why some modern ladies are not wife
Hi,
material.
my name is
Now
Joy
let's get into
Alexander,
this video.
and today I want to talk about the fact that women are no longer marriage material.
This is not for every woman, okay? Some women are, some women are
Because
not.
feminism has taught them not to be. From the time little girls are little, they're asked what they want to do when they grow up. And they're not allowed to say, I want to be a wife, a mother, and a homemaker. They will be mocked if they are told that or asked, or if they say that. So
Actually, growing up, I always wanted to be a wife. I always wanted to be somebody's wife and somebody's mother. I think for me, I learned this feminism unknowingly. I think through social media, through talking to other people, through the movies, where you see women be like, I don't want to get married, I don't need a man. I think subconsciously, it just ingrained in me, and I began to say same thing for years. I don't need a husband, I'm cool, I'm just gonna make my money. But when I was growing up, I wanted to be a wife. I think this is what television does to children, where they watch movies and they tell them, and unknowingly they begin to want to be like this movie people, which is not real life.
time they are young, that they need to go to college and have a career that makes money, because they are told that this is what provides worth and value in a woman's life. And most of them have not been raised by their mothers. Their mothers have been off at their careers. They can see that their mothers put their time and their energy and their effort into their careers and not to them. And they're raised by the example of their mothers and the screaming at them by culture to not be wives, mothers, and homemakers.
This is actually true. When you don't have a mother as a girl to teach you how to cook, how to clean, how to you don't see your mother respecting your dad, and you don't see that family bond when you're growing up, I think it actually affects you when you grow up, because then you don't know what is like, what is a good marriage, what is expected of you as a wife. You do not know. Then you have to learn from television, from friends, and sometimes, or most of the times, it's just wrong advice. But if you have a mother, not just somebody that gave birth, a mother that is there to teach you these things, you will know the responsibility of being a wife. Because you don't just say, I want to be a wife, and you're not ready for the responsibility, because being a wife is a real responsibility, and that is so true.
So they grow up and go off to college, and to backtrack a little bit, when they're growing up, they're not taught anything about homemaking, housekeeping, cooking, baking, cleaning, doing laundry, keeping a clean and tidy home, and forget canning and sewing and all of the traits that our past generations, way past generations, they needed to have to survive. But because of the modern conveniences that we have, most women don't need to know all that kind of things, but they still need to know how to keep a home clean and tidy, to cook and bake. But they actually cook and bake, they don't need to know anymore either. They can buy fast food, takeout food, processed cooked food in the grocery stores.
It's such a shame where you see a lady who says she wants to get married but she cannot cook. It's actually an insult to the institution of marriage. That is how I see it, because it's like so many women are running around. They don't even know what it is to be a wife. They just think you get a man, you guys stay in the same house, and you tell the man, listen, I can't cook, and he should be okay with it. And you guys order food, and you guys you can't clean, you understand, and you hire cleaners, or you pay for cleaners to come and clean the house. You don't do anything other than sit in the house and want to have sex every day, and you expect that man to be a traditional man, to provide for you, to take care of you, and when you have kids for him. And some women don't even want to push, they want to have a C-section, just bring the baby out, and they want to have a nanny and somebody to come over to help them with the kids. This is ridiculous. I think that is actually an insult to the institution of marriage, because listen, honey, if you don't know what it is to be a wife, I'm not here to bash anybody, I'm just here to say it the way it is. If you don't know what it is to be a wife, don't even try to get married. Just do you, or you get a lover. Don't, because it's actually an insult to the institution of marriage. And that is where you start seeing problems. And being married and taking care of your family, your children, becomes a chore, because you don't understand the responsibility of being a wife. Okay.
Outsourced, and they haven't been taught them. They've been given little value. They have no value in our culture anymore. Being a highfalutin career woman and making money is what's cheered and congratulated in our culture. So then these little girls aren't taught anything about homemaking, being wives. They don't see examples of good marriages anywhere around them. And they're taught that they need to pursue their dreams and their goals. It's all about them. Everything is about them and what they want. When they go to college, they can have sex freely, be promiscuous, as long as they take that pill, which is health destroying, and they have the option of abortion if they get pregnant. They're taught that they're to be competitive with men and that they're superior to men. And you see the slogan these days that the future is female. So they taught that they're the be all and end all. They don't need a man. It's completely opposite of what God's will is for women.
Like I said, I used to be this person who used to say, I don't need a man. And when you walk around for years saying you don't need a man, what you are actually doing is telling the universe that you don't need a man, and you will never get a man. And even if you get a man, you will never get a man that want to marry you. And because of that, you won't prepare yourself on what it is to be a wife and what it is to be a mother. You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, when you are ready to settle down, you will be like, where are all the good men? And then it might be too late, or you might be in your 30s, and then you realize that you need a man.
Marriage material at all. So they spend 4 or more years in college and universities. Then they go after their career every day. They make money and spend it on themselves, traveling and doing all they want to themselves, having the latest fashion and makeup and boob jobs and Botox and whatever, manicured nails and toes, and it's all about them and how they can spend money on themselves and do whatever they want. They're taught to be independent from men, strong, aggressive, competitive. If they're taught to be a gentle and quiet spirit, they mock it. Just look at the way women respond when they come to my site. It's so contrary to everything that they've ever been taught. And then women come to me and say, there are no men to marry. Well, guess what? There's few women that men want to marry. I remember one time my son was dating a young girl. First date, she came to our house and we were eating dinner, and she just made the statement, I just hate to cook. I never want to cook. My son was like, no, thank you, in his mind. He likes to eat. He wants a wife who loves homemaking, who loves to cook and clean and wants to have babies. Women are taught to not even want babies today. Babies are pollute the earth. They're time wasters. They're taught to be selfish.
This is why it's very important that before you get married to anyone, you need to discuss this fact. You need to get to know them. Do they love to cook? If you love to eat as a man, do they love to clean? If you want that kind of wife, and do they want babies? You need to talk about all these things. Don't just get carried away with sex. At the end of the day, you start complaining that my wife don't want to cook, my wife don't want to clean. You know what I mean? So have to talk.
Be good wife material. You need to be taught the complete opposite of what feminism has taught women today. They need to be taught to have gentle and quiet spirits, to love being home, and be taught all the ways of homemaking, to be good cooks, to be good cleaners, to work hard at home, to not be idle and gossipers, not to be lazy, but to glorify God in all that they do. They need to learn to love babies and want children. God calls children a blessing. He doesn't call having a career a blessing. This was the man's curse after the fall, was having to provide for the family.
This is beyond me, and I don't get it. Why would you have a man who wants to provide for you and you would be saying, I want to work. I want to I want to face my career. Nobody said you can do your business, but let your business, your career take backseat to your family life. When you decided or when you decide that you want to have a family and have children. You understand? If you need to take a break and put your family first. You understand what I'm saying? Let the
Women
man be the
hardened.
man,
Being at
okay?
home with children makes them softer. And our emotional, sensitive nature was created to be home with children. We weren't given the testosterone to be out in the workforce and to be competitive and driven. And this is why women's suicide and depression rates are skyrocketing, because they're where God doesn't want them to be. So young women, I encourage you to begin on the narrow path that leads to life. Begin obeying God. His plan is best for you. He wants you to marry, bear children, and guide the home. And if you don't marry, he has a plan for you too. He's good. And don't make it an idol in your life, but be holy in body and spirit. And find work to do that resembles homemaking and child caring and nurturing. Find something that is according to the way God created you to be, not aggressive and competitive and completely against womanhood. Learn to be feminine. As you learn to love being home, being a homemaker, loving children, being selfless, loving to serve, you won't have a good marriage if you go into marriage as a feminist, because it's going to be all about you and what your husband can do for you. I know I was that way.
You see, she was that way. Imagine this older woman. That means this bullshit of women not knowing what it is to be a wife, and women like want to be a man in competition with a man has been going on for years. And this is what is ingrained into this generation, where we have so many fucked up women who want to be a wife but don't know how to be a wife. So we can do better. As we are having our children, we can teach them how to be a wife, how to be a mother, and I think
Marriage
that
to
we
serve
can
and love
do
your husband. You're
better.
his helpmate. You go in to cook him the food that he likes. Keep the home clean and tidy and peaceful, in a place that he wants to come home. Smile at him often. Don't quarrel and argue with him. Don't be contentious. Many men are walking around their homes on eggshells, so nervous about upsetting their wives and then getting the silent treatment and having sex withheld from them. And that's no way for a man to have to live.
What she's basically saying is learn how to shut up your mouth. You know what I mean? Shut up your mouth. You don't have to argue, or you don't have to have an opinion every time your husband says something. Seriously, learn how to shut the fuck up and respect the man. There are other ways that you can make your point known other than shouting and raising your voice. And when you have children, they are looking at you, they are learning from you, and they are learning not just how to disrespect your husband, but how to disrespect other men. And when they grow up, the cycle will continue, and continue.
Need to be the wives, mothers, and the homemakers that God has called us to be. Quit listening to the lies of culture and feminism. The future isn't female. I don't want a future of female. I want men to be the leaders and the rulers in society and cultures and churches. God created them to do that. They're driven more by logic and reason than we are. We're driven more by emotions and feelings, which we do need to learn to take captive to the obedience of Christ and not allow them to control us. Every time we have a negative thought or feeling in our head, we need to kick that out immediately and replace it with truth.
And if you're a Christian, you will really appreciate the advice that she just gave to us. And what I can say is this: let everyone know their place. submit to your husband. And if you are dating him, he is not the kind of man you think you can submit to, do not marry him. Let a man be a man, and let a woman be a woman, and let a wife be a wife, and a husband be a husband. And I tell you this, there won't be divorce in the house. If your husband says something you don't like, you can always like talk to him later when he's calmed down. You understand what I'm saying? And if he doesn't want to listen, and if you're a Christian, you pray about it. You understand? You don't have to have an opinion over everything. Anyway, guys, we're just going to end this video here, and I want to hear your thoughts and your comments on the comment section below, and tell me what you think about this video, and I'll see you on my next video.